Welcome to Psychology Today. This is a show about bicycling in general and specifically about bicycle safety. I'm Ann Morrow and I'm your host. And I want to thank our volunteers in the control booth who are working tonight to make this show possible, and thank you viewers for tuning in to Psychology Today. We have two guests this evening. I've got Jacqueline Sinke waiting here to talk about bicycling fitness. That is, being fit enough to be able to ride your bike, whether you're just getting into cycling or whether you want to maintain a level of fitness when it's a little harder to ride in the winter months so that you're ready to go in the bicycling season next year. And we also have Theron Thompson from Bike Gallery, and he's going to talk to us about winter riding. That is, your bicycle itself, keeping it maintained, and how to keep yourself warm and dry so maybe you can extend your riding season. So I encourage you to check out our website, nwbicyclesafetycouncil.org, and learn more about Northwest Bicycle Safety Council and what we do. And you can see archived shows there as well. And on December 19th, join us at Papa's Pizza off 158th. And portions of your meal price will go to Northwest Bicycle Safety Council to help us provide helmets and bike fares for kids in 2013. So please join us at Papa's Pizza. Let's get started and meet our first guest, Jacqueline Sinke. Welcome, Jacqueline.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for having me tonight.
Well, you've been a guest before, and we really appreciate your expertise. You've been helping us, Northwest Bicycle Safety Council. You're a volunteer. Tell us some of the things you've done with the council.
Well, I worked first, I think I was just helmet fitting, doing the bicycle rodeo, so fitting lots of helmets on little kids' heads. So by the end of a morning like that, usually your shoulders are pretty tired. And that's always a lot of fun. The people are so grateful when you're involved with an event like this, so it's wonderful to do that. I always been involved with the board meetings, usually able to make most of them. I may miss some of them once in a while. I've been the treasurer for a while, and that's been taken over by someone else now, so I'm now just on the executive board and still the fitness advisor. And I used to work at the other studio from the TVC-TV.
That's right.
Being on the camera crew and floor manager, so always something exciting to do.
Yes, you've been very involved with the council.
Yeah.
And we do appreciate your expertise. Now, our last show we had a spin instructor to talk about the idea of working on a stationary bike and staying warm and dry, trying to build up or retain fitness, and we thought we'd kind of expand on that idea that if it's hard for you to get out and ride during the winter, or you're not quite on the bike yet, how can we get there? And so let's talk a little bit about you first, as far as, like, you have a website, Fitness and Function. Why don't you tell us about your passion for fitness?
I am a health fitness professional. I've been in the health fitness field for a little bit over 20 years. I'm a personal trainer and health fitness specialist. I work with different populations. I work with kids. I work with healthy adults and older adults. I worked with athletes in the past. I worked in corporate fitness, but now my specialization is more working with people who have chronic medical conditions, maintaining health and fitness for wellness, for well living.
So ours is kind of, the idea of staying fit for cycling is not quite maybe so challenging as somebody that has some physical restrictions.
Yes.
So how did we come to be so lucky to have you in Oregon? How did you come to be here?
Well, I've been here for probably about 23 years now. I am not a native of America. I was born in the Netherlands. I'm a U.S. citizen now, but I was born in Holland, in the south of Holland. A lot of people cycle. I had several bikes, one for just recreational transportation, and one for longer rides, for weekend rides. And that was always, it was a necessity.
Yeah.
Okay. When you're born in Holland, you're born on two wheels, basically.
Instead of 4, like
Instead of 4, yes. Yeah, yeah. Since then, my ex-husband was in the military, so we lived in different places throughout the U.S. And living in Oregon is great because the weather is similar as Holland. It rains a lot too. So, but however, in Holland, you still cycle in the rain. You just have yourself have your raincoat on and your pants, and still drive to work in the rain.
Okay.
So that's maybe a little bit different here. They may be a little bit more eager to get the car.
Yeah, we're a little more skittish once it starts to rain, some of us. Let's see. You agreed to talk to me about fitness for cycling, either maintaining fitness or getting to the point where you're going to ride your bike. And we talked about it, and your first topic of conversation wasn't like get a gym membership or something like that. It was setting goals. And I thought that was really interesting. So let's talk about that. What kind of goals should we think about before we even start exercising?
Right. So you want to know what what level of fitness you are doing right now.
We're going to go to a video first about Beaverton
good.
Banks and Beyond. It's our that Chris Flanagan, I think, filmed for us. Beaverton Banks and Beyond, a video about this great ride. So envision yourself riding now.
That's the spirulina ginseng.
Do you want to stand over here? Bicycle Safety Council, Beaverton Banks and Beyond. And we're back with Jacqueline Sinke, who's our guest right now, talking about fitness so that you can get on your bike and ride, or you can maintain your fitness level through the winter riding season. And when we went to the video, Jacqueline was about to tell us about setting goals. That would be a first step in getting fit, is to set goals. And perhaps the Beaverton Banks and Beyond Bicycle Tour is a goal you would set in 2013 in August. So, but let's get some information from Jacqueline and your expertise. What about goals?
Okay, your goals need to be smart. You need to set smart goals, and the S actually starts for being specific. So your goal needs to be specific, like the Northwest Bikes, the Beaverton Bikes and Beyond tour. Your goal also should be measurable. Okay, you should be able to measure how much you have improved and what level you're going to be riding. Your goal also should be realistic and attainable. You should be able to reach that goal. And it should be relevant, and it should also have a time limit. So the Beaverton Banks and Beyond is the end of August, I believe. So if that's your goal, then that's your time limit, right? But before you, set those specific goals, you also need to understand or need to know what level of fitness you are right now and what goal you like to set. Are you a recreational rider? Are you a health and fitness rider, riding to improve fitness level or improvement of health? Or are you a competitive cyclist and doing more sports or competition types of cycling?
Okay. And maybe you just want to get involved with some great cycling. Maybe you haven't been on your bike. We talk about bicycling all the time, and you'd like to join us. Or maybe you want to participate in a harder ride than you've ever done before. Like Cycle Oregon comes to mind, a week-long bicycle ride, and you want to be fit for that so that you enjoy it.
Yeah, so like Cycle Oregon, you probably need to have a higher level of fitness than doing a 32-mile ride, doing for the Beaverton Banks and Beyond ride. So the more strenuous and challenging the rides are that you choose, the higher level of fitness you need to have. So you need to know, what level of fitness am I now? What do I need to be in order to do this particular ride? So, how do you reach those goals? Where do you start?
Yes.
Okay, so that's probably difficult for some people.
Yeah, and how do you know exactly what fitness level you're going to need to do Beaverton Banks and Beyond, or even Cycle Oregon or something?
Yeah. Yes.
And that's where somebody like you comes in.
And like you mentioned, you had a spinning instructor here before, which is a great option for indoor cycling to maintain your cardiovascular fitness, and also, your endurance and your vigor, your strength. There are other options.
Yes.
And next to spinning, there's other cardiovascular exercise options. You could bring your own bike inside. Indoors, right? Or like going to the gym and choose other types of cardiovascular exercise options, a treadmill, running, walking, cycling, stepping, elliptical. Those are other options for that too. But then you also probably want to look at resistance training, improving your strength, improving your muscle power so that you're able to climb those hills and inclines and things like that.
Now, since we're going to just be training for bicycle fitness, I think from the waist down, we need to have strong legs. Is that a good approach, or should we be doing all body fitness?
The legs, of course, are very important, but you need to be able to hold onto your handlebar. You need to be able to maintain your balance while you're riding your bike. So you need to have an overall level of strength and endurance. If your upper body is weak in a longer ride, your upper body probably gets tired earlier or sooner. So strong upper body, strong core, abdominals, lower back, all the muscles surrounding your spinal column, chest, back muscles, shoulders, forearms, and biceps and triceps. All those are just as important as the lower body, the legs.
And I'm somebody that does exercise indoors, and I kind of can personally testify that it really does pay off. you just have a lot more endurance and your muscles don't tire out. And you have to spend time on the bicycle, of course, but boy, it really pays off to just get your muscles stronger.
Yeah, so you do need to hit the gym, or
Yes.
another option, maybe even in-home exercise.
Uh-huh. Different alternatives.
Right.
So just how do we gauge this? How do we figure out where we're at now and where we need to be then, and measuring it and seeing progress?
Okay, understanding where you are right now, what type of rides you're doing currently, what is the distance that you're riding, how tired are you afterwards? That's also important. So if you're very tired afterwards, you know you probably need to do something about your fitness level. Fitness professionals or personal trainers often can do fitness assessments, or to find out what your endurance level is, what your strength level is. You can find out that way, and then work up to a level that you're at the higher level of fitness. Personal trainers can help you, and again, personal trainers have different specialties. You may have a personal trainer who works with the average healthy person. There's personal trainers who work with certain population groups, but also those who work more sports specific. So whatever your goal is for riding, if you want to ride for improving health and fitness, you're probably okay with just a personal trainer. But if or a personal trainer who focuses more on the overall person,
Sure.
For health and fitness. But if you want to be very competitive, I would choose a trainer who is more trained in, being more athletic in competition. It's a little bit different.
That makes sense. Yeah. And what about, now you mentioned in your notes here about injuries and that sort of thing. What if we have an injury, or how do we prevent injury through fitness?
Right. So injuries, of course, are never fun. And often we want to work around the injury. If you want to keep riding, you may want to work around it and be able to take easier rides. But over the winter months, it may be a great time to recover and prevent further injury, or a more severe or serious injury. Or you want to prevent it from getting worse. So improving health and fitness, maybe to prevent a fall off your bike because you get too tired, or you just didn't have the muscle power to take that curve, or anything basically.
Pulled muscles sometimes?
Yeah, pulled muscles. So
and then how do we prevent injuries? So if we build our strength, our muscles are less likely to pull, and like you're saying, we're stronger and we're less likely to perhaps fall.
Right. So stronger muscles are more powerful. You have more endurance, less likely to get hurt, and stronger muscles, more flexible. When you do resistance training, strength training, you're not only improving your strength and your muscle power, you're also improving your flexibility and your range of motion around the joints. As long as you work with full range of motion, lifting a weight all the way up and all the way going down, you improve the length of the muscle, but also the strength and also the range of motion in your joints. So with cycling, it makes a huge difference as well.
And you were a guest on the show one time and showed us a lot of stretching and how beneficial that is. I think a lot of people work their muscles and forget about the stretching part. What would you say about that?
Stretch when the muscles are warm. 15 to 30 seconds, and a nice static stretch. So no bouncing or ballistic stretching.
Ballistic?
Ballistic stretching is when you stretch your hamstring, but you just kind of do this ballistic movement, and then you risk pulling the muscle. You want to prevent that. You want to lengthen the muscle safely, and so that's why you need to just hold the tension for about 15 to 30 seconds, till to the point of tension, no pain.
Okay. Now the thinking used to be, I think it's changed a little bit, to stretch before. But you said when the muscles are warm. So
Right.
it's more beneficial after you've done your workout and your cardiovascular and so forth to do some muscle stretching like you're describing.
Right.
Okay.
That's right.
A little different thought that people have learned lately. So again, working on these goals, we're talking about what kind of riding we want to do, and so we could bring things indoors. What other exercises? You know, you can go really high-end, expensive training, but there's a lot we can do just on our own with very little monetary outlay to get more fit. We can just start with walking. What other things can we do on our own?
Even if you don't want to gym, you can do a lot of things at home, like like indoor exercises next to walking outdoors. Some people have exercise equipment in the home. You don't need a lot.
Yeah.
You can work the whole body with minimal amount of equipment, stability ball, some bands and tubing. You can work the whole body, the lower body, legs, hips, chest, back. A lot of body weight exercises, push-ups, pull-ups. Core exercises, of course, are also very important for cycling. Strong core helps you maintain balance on the bike, helps you maintain balance when you're getting tired as well. It helps you with preventing some injuries even for upper body. So core exercises are definitely a must.
And by core, you mean the center of your body, like from where to where, kind of?
Basically, the abdominals and the lower back, but also the muscles surrounding your spinal column.
Okay.
The spinal, the extensors, the back extensors, all those are very important. What's often neglected is when we go to the gym, we do a leg press, we may do a leg extension, a leg curl, and we often forget about the hips, the inner and the outer thigh muscles, and those are usually very important for maintaining balance, especially when you have a very narrow base of support. And when you're on the bicycle, the bicycle is two wheels, so it's a very narrow base of support, so your abductor and adductor muscles of the hips are very important for maintaining good stability and balance as well. So if you do have some issues with balance when you're riding, maybe an older rider, those are some muscle groups you definitely want to put into your exercise program.
Interesting. Okay, I sure wasn't aware of that. Yeah, that is definitely a muscle group that we tend to forget.
Right.
And then you mentioned resistance training. Now, is that with the bands and that sort of thing?
Against resistance. So the resistance could be anything. Could be the bands, could be a weight machine, it could be manual resistance. If I push against you, you push against me, that's manual resistance. If you push two hands together, it's also manual, but you can do that as well. Spinning classes, like you mentioned, but then you also have other options too. There's a lot of boot camp classes.
Oh, yeah.
You can take. CrossFit is another one, which is pretty competitive for competitive riders, which is an option. And they use body weight training. They use weight training as well.
Okay. That's something I haven't done. So okay. And I think from personal experience, this time of year it's kind of winter, that really if a person has practically no fitness, to start out just walking, which is inexpensive, and then building up to some of this stuff, getting a little bit of strength, and then venturing out into some of this. Now, what about, you're talking about doing things at home, videotapes or something like that to help guide you? Is that
It's
good?
possible. Yeah, absolutely. There are a lot of apps available right now too. A lot of people use their cell phone for a lot of apps. There's different organizations. Even Nike has different apps. When you click on those, that gives you like an exercise program, which you can do, and then you go to the next exercise program. So it gives you an explanation how to do certain things. So it's almost like having a trainer on your phone.
Yeah.
And doesn't really, it doesn't have to cost very much. You could use videotapes, of course. I don't know what's available on TV, but even Netflix has different options. So look for exercise programs that have a good reputation, who have trainers who are certified by, say, the American College of Sports Medicine, American Council on Exercise, National Strength and Conditioning Association. So get the information from a good source.
Not just some cute celebrity.
Right. Well, it may still be good.
Okay. Now, sometimes people have medical conditions that maybe they think are going to prevent them from doing things. What might some of those be, and what can they do?
For example, right now we know but people carrying a little bit more body weight and cycling being a great resource for losing weight. But when you have a higher amount of body weight, a lot of people also have diabetes, type 2 diabetes. In addition to that, that may prevent someone from possibly cycling or going outdoors and not being aware or not really being sure about how their blood sugar level is going to respond. And controlling blood sugar, of course, is number one, is very important. But the cycling can help with managing and also controlling blood sugar levels. It's really important for someone who has a medical condition that they possibly start riding with someone else, not by themselves. Also that they have a medical ID tag or a bracelet or a necklace, or the latest thing what I've heard, they also have a tattoo to their wrists or even to their chest. So there's different options. But also preparing for the ride a little bit more, making sure you have enough water with you or some other way to hydrate, have food or carbohydrates with you, especially with diabetes. If you go down too low, your blood sugar drops too much, you're going to get in trouble. So you need to make sure you have some carbohydrates with you. And bring a cell phone, have a first aid kit, just some basic minimal things. And just be really aware about your level of health and your situation. And there's a lot of people who are athletes or fitness enthusiasts who have medical conditions and are doing a great thing by helping, by improving their health and their fitness level, even with that medical condition. Because even when you have a medical condition, maintaining regular exercise, physical activity, good nutrition, you can prevent additional medical conditions to pile on top of the one you already have. So it's a great preventive tool for ourselves as well.
For all of us.
For all of us.
Okay. Well, thank you, Jacqueline, for joining us, and hopefully we've inspired people that we can all do this. We can either get the fitness or maintain our fitness. And we can go to Jacqueline's website, which I'm sure has been showing on the screen. Thanks for joining us. We're going to go to a video now about TriMet, taking your bicycle on the bus or using public transportation with your bike. It really opens up the whole community to you by using TriMet. So let's go to the video and then we'll have our second guest.
With higher fuel costs comes a shift in how we travel. More of us are choosing to bike or take mass transit for some or all of our trips. When buses, trains, and bikes share the road, it's even more important to practice safe driving and safe riding. TriMet bus operators are trained to watch out for cyclists. You can help by following a few simple rules of the road. At Max and West stations, cyclists are not allowed to ride on boarding platforms or in pedestrian crossings. Walking your bike across the tracks is the safest way to enter or exit the station. Look both ways before crossing the tracks. Trains may be approaching in either direction. Be sure to cross the tracks straight on. It's dangerous to cross at an angle or right alongside the tracks. It can cause your wheel to slip into the track bed and result in a crash. To be safe, walk your bike across the tracks. Visibility is important when you're riding around buses. Always use a front white light and a rear red light at night, at dusk, and at dawn. And remember, buses have blind spots. If you can't see the operator in the mirror, the operator can't see you. Be predictable. Use hand signals when merging, turning, or changing lanes. This helps bus operators make good decisions around you, such as when to pull out from a stop, when to pass you, and when to make a turn. Ride in a straight line and avoid weaving between parked cars or between the sidewalk and the street. Take the middle of the traffic lane if it is narrow, so drivers behind you will know to move to the left lane to pass. The safest place to be around buses is in front of them. Most important, obey signals and signs. Don't ride against traffic or in areas marked bus only. These streets are closed to bikes and other vehicles. Walk your bike on the sidewalk if you need to. Buses and bikes share the right side of the road and often have to weave across each other's paths as buses serve stops. Buses aren't permitted to cross bike lanes to get into a bus stop until the bike lane is clear. If you approach a bus serving a stop, pass on the left. When you see a stop bus with the right blinker or the flashers activated, that means passengers are getting on and off, and you should pass on the left. When a bus is flashing its yield sign, don't pass. Instead, allow the bus back into the center of the lane. You should even stop if necessary. Yield signs allow buses to get back into traffic after they leave stops so they can stay on schedule. If you have a bad experience with a bus or a train, please let us know by calling 503-238-RIDE or email customerservice@trimet.org. Be sure to note the bus line, location, and the time of day. Working together, we can all share the road safely. Your help goes a long way. To learn more, visit trimet.org/bikes.
Thinking about bringing your bike on the bus? It's easy. Here's what you need to know. If you have a compact folding bike, you're welcome to bring it on board. Otherwise, you'll need to load your bike onto the rack on the front of the bus. Most standard-size bikes, and even some recumbents, will fit in the racks. Bike racks can fill up quickly during the morning and afternoon rush hour, so be prepared to wait for another bus if there's no space. To be safe, make sure the bus stops completely and get the driver's attention before loading your bike. First, squeeze the handle on the top of the rack and pull the rack forward to lower it. There are slots for 2 bikes. If the rack is empty, just lift your bike and place the wheels in one of the slots. Then, to secure it, slide the metal bar up over your front wheel or fender as close to the frame as possible. Remove any loose items or valuables from your bike. Be sure to remove panniers, child seats, or any object that could block the headlights or the operator's vision. Finally, board the bus and pay your fare. Don't forget your bike. When you're ready to get off the bus, let the operator know that you need to get your bike. Exit through the front door if you can. Again, make eye contact before you step in front of the bus. Slide the metal bar off of the wheel. Then lift your bike out of the slot and fold up the rack. Never cross the street in front of the bus unless it's stopped at a red light. And that's how you bring your bike on the bus.
These days, more and more Portlanders are using pedal power to get around, and a growing number of cyclists are combining their bike trips with transit. If you're planning on bringing your bicycle on Max, here's what you need to know. TriMet only allows single-seat, 2-wheeled bikes on board, or recumbents and electric bikes the size of a standard bicycle. Trailers are not allowed. Bikes are allowed on Max only if there's room, so try to make your trip before or after rush hour. If Max is full, you need to wait for another train. When Max arrives, allow other riders to exit and enter the train first, then walk your bike on board. Inside, look for the signs that show where bikes may be stored. If a vertical rack is available, use that one first. Remember to keep your bike as clean as possible and try not to brush it against others. Always yield the priority seating areas to seniors and people with disabilities. And be sure not to block the stairwells or aisles. If you're on a train with steps at the front doors, bikes are not allowed at the top of the steps. When you practice good bike etiquette, it makes the ride more comfortable for everyone. Happy riding, and we'll see you on board.
From TriMet that helps us understand how to use our bike on public transportation. So I hope that you find that helpful. And now we've got our guest, Theron Thompson from Beaverton Bike Gallery, and he's going to talk to us about winter riding. How do you take care of your bike? What do you need to do special in the winter with your bike? And he's brought some great gear to show us so that you can ride during the winter. And thanks for coming.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
And we're going to pick your brain about some of this winter riding stuff. Let's learn a little bit about you first. How do you come to be in the Portland area?
I grew up here. I am
Okay.
evidently one of the few who can still say that. I was born in Portland and moved all over as my dad changed jobs from all the way out at Meadowland Dairy, way out at Bicentennial High School, Lake Oswego, Beaverton.
So
Yeah.
you've always been in the metro area, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And what's your cycling background?
I started younger with a little Schwinn Stingray with the big,
Yeah.
used to call them monkey bars and
Yeah.
banana seat that wrecked several times, and it ended up with one left handlebar. And then I got my first Schwinn, orange Schwinn Latour,
yeah.
and which was very great. And now, whenever I pick one up, I just think, "Good Lord, how could I have ridden that?" It's like riding a block of steel. It was so heavy. But I stuck with road riding. I still ride and commute now on a lighter steel bike. That's my daily commuter. And then I've got what I call my little bike, which is a little fast carbon bike.
So good. And do you do cyclocross or anything like that?
I don't do cyclocross. I tease Julie, my girlfriend, that I'm too old and I don't want to go out and just get so muddy and dirty and cold. But I have a lot of my customers that do cyclocross. It's huge.
Yeah.
And it's growing. And you see the little kids doing it. They're awesome. It's fun. It looks like it's a ball.
It does. I haven't done it either. It looks fun though. And how did you come to work at Bike Gallery?
It was a career change. I had been in banking. I had been commercial banking for a long time. I got lucky in that I was able to make a career change into something that I loved. And so I went to Bike Gallery because I knew that Jay Graves, the owner and founder with his father, that he was committed to biking, and he's always said, we improve people's lives every day by putting them on a bike. And he was totally committed to his customers. He makes it easy to be successful by putting the customer first and getting everybody on a bike. And so I went to him and I said, I want to work for you. And he said, okay. And that was it. I had a job with him for within a week.
Wow.
And it's hard work. It's a lot of hard work.
Well, and yeah, but what a great, I mean, that's absolutely right. I certainly believe that putting people on bikes really helps your quality of life and your joy in living. So thanks for helping. Now, Bike Gallery is a partner with Northwest Bicycle Safety Council, and we do bike fairs, and a lot of times Bike Gallery sends a tech out to help the kids to wrench on their bikes so that an unsafe bike becomes a safe bike. A lot of times parents don't know how to fix their kids' bikes, so they aren't even aware that there's a problem. So
Absolutely, you're right.
We sure appreciate that. And we've got Bike Gallery lining up with us for 2013, so we're ready to go.
I think our former service manager, Sterling Hill, actually he leads those efforts.
Oh, okay.
He has a team of mechanics, and he loves doing that. He's always working with the kids, even teaching them how to put on their pedals and take off their pedals.
Yeah, yeah. What kind of ride? So you talked about what kind of riding you like to do. What's your on your little light bike? What's your favorite ride right now?
Oh, right now I love and I'm not sure why I love this because there's a big hill right in the middle of it. But it's right. I'll ride from my home over here in Garden Home, and I'll just pop over the top of Sylvan.
Pop over the top, yeah.
Yeah, there's a great bike trail now. There's a great bike trail. It used to be much worse. So I can go over the top of Sylvan, and I'm in shape. And as your previous guest said, it takes time to get into shape. And with my left knee, I understand completely. It took time. So now I can do this anytime I want. I go right over Sylvan, through downtown, over Mount Tabor on Hawthorne. And then if I'm hungry, I stop at a little taqueria there, get 2 tacos, and I scoot across over Rocky Butte, and then down to over OHSU on Terwilliger, over Hillsdale, and back into Garden Home. And it's about 36 miles, a lot of hills.
Yeah.
But now I enjoy it. I'm in shape. I can do it. I've got a great bike. There's 5 mechanics at my store who work on my bike. It's great. So yeah, it's a good ride now. So that's my favorite.
Life is good. That sounds like a good one.
I'm lucky.
Do you ride in rainy weather?
I ride in rainy weather a lot, a whole lot.
So let's find out about bicycles and rainy weather. Let's talk about the machine. And what should we do to prepare our bicycle for a rainy ride or winter riding?
I think the first thing I tell people when they come in to look for a bike and say they want to start commuting is I ask them specifically, are you going to ride in the rain? Are you committed to this? 2 to 3 times a week in Oregon, 42, 43 degree real rain with wind and rain. And they say, sure. And then I'll say, okay, let's start with safety. Pick the kind of bike you want. Are you going to ride a straight bar and sit up higher with a lot of visibility? Or will you be holding a road style handlebar where you're bent over a little more? Your body's geometry changes, so more angled. And then once we talk about that, then we'll talk about fenders that provide safety and comfort, front and rear.
Can you elaborate on that? Because you're going to get wet anyway. Why put fenders on your bike?
Well, I think first and foremost for me, I think it's confidence. It just removes a worry that you don't need when you're thinking about everything else. Like the cars that are zipping by at 40 miles an hour. Is that a pothole? It's kind of dark.
Yeah.
You don't have to think about anything extra. That road spray flying up. If you don't have a full coverage fender in the front, your toes are getting wet. They're just getting soaked. And if you're not wearing a wool sock, if you're wearing a cotton sock, then your feet are getting cold as they get wet. And you're thinking about that instead of what you should be thinking about, which is just commanding your bike, making your bike do what you want it to do with your body.
Okay.
So I think just being confident is a game changer. I ask about the tire width. Maybe riding a 28 millimeter tire is only about that wide. A 32 is slightly wider, 35, maybe light tread. That helps distribute the water. The water can actually kind of dissipate a tad. So I'll ask people, will that make you feel confident? Sometimes looking down at a front tire that's just a little bit wider or maybe has just a tiny bit of tread makes you feel that much better. And I know it works for my girlfriend. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. And what about preparing the bike? Like, do you lube it, oil it, wax it? What do you do?
Absolutely. I think that if you can, try to dry your bike off when you come home. Virtually nobody does. I can tell you, absolutely, I said I had 5 mechanics. None of them wipe their bike off after they ride it in the rain, but they all lubricate their chain every couple days because they're riding it in the rain. And I do have a little bottle of lubrication. Did you want to see it?
Yeah.
I think I had it right here. This bottle is something that we all use, and it's made here in Portland, and there's 3 different color tops, and this orange top is the one that we'll typically grab for people who say, I want to just be an all-around commuter, right? And in maybe 2 to 3 times a week, if you use this oil just on your chain, just simply spin your chain backwards. We show you how to grab your chain with a rag and make sure that the oil is getting on all the links. If you should do it every day, but people don't, just like they don't check the air in their tires. But if you can do that a couple times a week, it's a huge difference. It just keeps it running well. And all the other pieces on your derailleurs will operate better just because your chain is properly lubricated.
So there are bike-specific lubricants for your chain. I mean,
Yes, ma'am.
certainly the novice might get out the WD-40 or something, and that is a real no-no. You want to use this
Correct.
bike-specific stuff, especially here in Oregon.
Yes, I absolutely don't use WD-40.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
great product for a lot of things.
It is.
Just don't use it on your bike chain. You're absolutely right.
Okay, great. That's great advice right there. So you say we should wipe down our bike. What in particular should we do? The rims, the chain. What all should we be wiping down?
I think if you can, have a dedicated rag. So as that chain comes through, you just grab it, and as you turn your crank, the chain will pull right through there. Just hold it lightly. Get some of that. Just get all the water and grime
And
off.
gunk,
Yes,
yeah.
ma'am. Yeah, absolutely. If you can wipe the bottom, it's called the bottom bracket. It's where you have the two pedals. It's that round thing at the bottom.
Okay.
It's going to collect a whole bunch of dirt and a whole bunch of debris. Just wipe that off. And if you can, with a different rag, just get up and wipe off the standing water, the dripping water. It just helps. It'll help water that pools in the screws, maybe pools in tiny little areas. If you can just get some of that, it'll help with rust.
Sure. Well, that all makes sense. Now, are there components that are better or worse in the rain? For instance, disc brakes maybe are a better option in the rain, but they're kind of expensive maybe?
Disc brakes help a lot. Yeah, there's particularly, I think, if you aren't an experienced rider. We have people that I work with that have been riding bikes, or racing bikes since they were 14 or 15 years old. And so if you can get a disc brake, for instance, that makes somebody less of a novice and just more confident, go for it, because it has all stopping power in all weather. Absolutely. It'll get a little noisy, it'll talk to you,
Oh, okay.
but it will stop you without a doubt. And just brake them in properly.
Something to look at. Let's talk a little bit about some of this great stuff you've brought, some of the products to help a person ride. You've brought a lot of lights, and some of us may not be commuters or ride in the dark, so to speak.
Right.
But lights might be a good thing even on a real gray day around here. Why don't you show us what you've brought?
Absolutely. I ride with what's called the Flea, and the Flea is by Blackburn, and it's tiny, tiny, tiny. I mean, this is the light.
Oh, wow, that is tiny.
And that is the USB, the charger.
Uh-huh.
So, and you can activate it. It'll probably, if I turn on, it'll hit the back here. But that's on full.
Okay.
Right now, it's telling me it's red, so it needs to be charged.
Uh-huh.
So on a gray day, for instance, I'll ride with it blinking like this. And the reason I like it blinking like that is that a driver will see this.
Yeah.
And I think that helps overcome a certain apathy that some drivers have. They're used to seeing a steady light, and they just don't see it anymore. So having a blinking light, for instance, on this kit here is a front and a rear light.
Uh-huh.
And so not only will it have a solid beam, but it also has a flashing beam. And the nice part about that flashing beam is that it attracts the driver's eye and attention, which I think is great. So even on a gray day, I'll ride with my bike light flashing. And then the rear lights, and these are very bright. This will probably make your cameraman and director really mad, so I won't turn it, but it blinks a lot.
Yeah.
And you want as much attention as you can get. They can go solid, they can do random patterns. And then the brightest rear light I have, probably at a moderate price point, is this Planet Bike.
Uh-huh.
And they are very bright. They just pop like that. And I have these on my bike. I actually have two in the back. And when it rains, sometimes I'll actually take a third on my rain jacket. And most bike rain jackets actually have a small loop. And you just take the light. I can take my third one.
Uh-huh.
And I just take this small little clip and put it on the loop on my jacket as well. So I look like a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And I'd rather, in a rainy night like tonight, I'd rather look like a Christmas tree.
Yes. Well, you're here to tell us about it.
Absolutely.
So it must be working.
Yeah, it does. It does.
So keeping warm and dry, like you say, 40-some degrees, it's wet. Let's talk about our feet first. What all can we put on our feet, and is it possible to have dry feet?
It is possible to have dry feet and warm. They're not mutually exclusive. I do have a couple pair of rain booties that I did bring. This is kind of a premium boot.
Those are big.
This is a big boot. This is by Gore-Tex, Gore-Wear. And you can see it'll come all the way up to your calf and then cover your toe and your heel. You have a little band here.
Yeah.
So you can walk in it too. Yeah. Your sole will grab, but you're going to stay dry with this. Absolutely, without a doubt.
Now a question that comes, I always put my tights over my booties. My booties aren't that big, with the thought that the rain is going down the leg of my tights,
right.
and so you don't want to have the open edge of the booty there because it'll just go right in. So I always put the tights over those. That might be a little challenging, but maybe it's possible.
It would be a little challenging. With that one, I would just suggest wrapping it right around your calf. It's really got to be raining for water to squeeze in between whatever pant or tight you're wearing, and then to work its way down. But I've had that happen actually. This is the one that I wear, and you can see that's a small little opening. And even though I'm really skinny and have chicken legs, it still goes right on there.
Okay.
And it was raining one time, and I was practicing, trying to see which would work best for some of my customers. And I had water running down through here, through my shoes and out of my shoes.
Oh, wow.
And this is my favorite boot. I bought this one. So it'll happen. That was a miserable day.
Yeah, well, there are every winter.
But I did wear wool socks, and I do have to admit, if you can wear, if you can wear a light wool, merino wool, anything like that is primarily wool, it's a much, much better choice than cotton. Your feet are going to get wet, but they'll stay warm. So if you have to err on this, on the side of weight, versus comfort, take the wool and just stay warm.
Okay.
Just like that hat. That is a wool cycling hat, and I wear that quite often under my helmet because if it gets soaked, I'm still going to be warm.
And that is there a hat, some kind of cap or a hat under the helmet, like you're saying, to keep the warmth from going out the top of your head, and then they have caps to go over your helmet.
Yes. To
help keep the rain out. I mean, both.
Oh yeah. I thought I had one here. I do actually. Let me just bend for one second here. This one is one that I will wear. This is a regular cap, but it goes underneath the helmet. And then I do have this one, and this is a local company, and you'll see that it's big enough to go over the helmet, really, really large, and you can adjust it on each side. I can pull the right side in, the left side in, and then this hangs down almost like fireman's helmet, so the water will actually run off. And
that can be an issue.
And I have this.
Okay.
And I have worn it, and it works. I will get overly warm sometimes on a longer ride. Maybe if I get to 9 or 11 miles, I will get pretty warm, but I'm dry.
So keeping the head warm, wool is a good product.
Absolutely.
Wool undershirts under your jersey and that sort of thing.
Yep.
Is helpful to keep you warm. With wool, then maybe you don't need 5 or 6 layers to try to keep warm.
You don't. I ride warm. I tend to exercise pretty warm, so I can now get away with just one rain jacket. Let me reach right here. I'll show you one. This is another local company, so I can ride with this jacket, and it has pit zips that will unzip here. It unzips from the bottom up and the top down. So there's a lot of adjustability to get air in and to provide comfort. The sleeves are long enough that when you reach, they still cover the cuff of your glove. So I can now get away with a long sleeve jersey with just a thermal lining. And there are a lot of new fabrics that have these thermal linings that get the moisture off of you right away.
Wick it away, yeah.
Yes, yes, exactly. And you stay warm.
Yeah.
So if you run warm, while you exercise, then I would just say go ahead and wear one layer long sleeve jersey with something like this, and you'll be fine. After a mile or two, you'll warm up to your operating temperature, and you're good.
Yeah, it's and that is a real good, like a wind block, so the cool air isn't flowing through the materials.
Oh, yeah.
And chilling you.
Absolutely. And I've had that. I've had that happen. I've worn a short sleeve jersey and didn't prepare adequately, and yeah, that's no fun.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you've given us a lot of insight onto all the products and how to take care of our bikes. So thank you so much for taking the time to come. And it's nice to have Bike Gallery sharing its employees and its expertise with us. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for inviting us.
Well, that ends our show, and we've had 2 great guests. I hope that it helps you in these winter months to either ride or get some physical fitness so that you can ride or keep riding in the coming year. And we saw some lights. So one of my friends pointed out you want to make sure that if you're riding in the dark, make sure that your headlight, your big bright headlight, isn't shining in the other cyclist's eyes, like on some of the dark trails that we have around here. Maybe if it pointed down just a little bit so that you're not blinding your fellow cyclists, that would be a good thing. And so at Northwest Bicycle Safety Council, we want to encourage you to ride safe and use those lights day or night, and wear your helmet and be courteous of your other cyclists with your lights. And I hope that you'll be thinking about joining us for Beaverton Banks and Beyond Bicycle Tour in August of 2013. It's a goal that you can set for riding your bicycle and inspiring you to be at the gym or be active in your house or going out for a walk or getting physically fit so you can ride with us. Bruce Buffington and I have fun rides to do. Come and join us. Thank you.